use that to keep up with all of the scores while you're on the move. All the details of how to get that app down there on the screen right now. So I believe we're going to be getting into the map veto shortly, but just to do a sort of quick recap, Fnatic versus Vexed, we talked about maybe how the veto is going to work, that Fnatic could be really cruel and just take away all of their best toys. How do we think the veto is going to pan out?
No, sorry, that's the only relevant thing is Fnatic.
Yeah, absolutely.
All that matters is Fnatic.
Yeah.
And if you ask me if there's any other things that could happen, probably Fnatic.
Okay. Guys?
I mean, I thought that we hired Thorin to fill.
he's had it written in his contract now.
Yeah, it's like,
it's like, you know,
whatever sentence you may have, it costs extra.
I get paid by the word.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Explain some of the articles.
But no, like I said, Fnatic, their map pool is so deep, so I just don't see.
It doesn't matter how the map veto process goes.
You're learning from Thorin.
The thing
it doesn't
is,
matter, Fnatic.
If you look at the maps, okay, that they all like. So for Fnatic, the most liked maps is Cobblestone, Inferno, Overpass, Dust 2. So of those maps, the best for Vex are Cobble and Overpass. They really like them, so they share those two maps. The problem is, the other two best maps for Fnatic, Inferno, Dust 2, they're actually the two worst maps for Vexed. So Fnatic, they don't care. They can definitely get 2 out of their best 4. Yeah. If you're Vexed, you're going to have to be trying to ban towards Inferno Dust. You don't want to play those. And you want ideally to get a train, but you're not going to because Fnatic's going to ban that. So you're hoping, okay, let's get a Cobble or an Overpass, which I think is doable. I think Fnatic might want to play them on those. They won't be scared of them on something like Cobblestone. It's very rare that they lose. It's only world-class teams can beat them on that. So I think actually this is going to be one where it will be a map both teams like, but that's not going to do a lot for Vex, I don't think.
I think the best map that Vex could possibly get is the Cobblestone. Mainly because, you know, if you have a good seed side, if you start off well, it's one of those maps where it's extremely hard. You have to be, you know, somewhat prepared for it. So for Fnatic, I mean, just speaking from experience, when we say Cobblestone and we ended up going out in ESWC versus a new team, then, you know...
Platinum, never forget.
I mean, you know, stuff happens, and you know,
PTSD, right?
Yeah. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think I just got a stroke.
Well, we saw in the most recent PGL, obviously we saw Team Liquid take Cobblestone against Fnatic, right? So that happened. I'm pretty sure it's in my brain. There's something that did occur. So.
You'll never forget it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll always
where
remember
were you
I
on
was.
that day?
Exactly. But you know, I think that means that there's got to be a chance for Vexed if they can get it on Cobblestone, right? I mean, maybe Fnatic aren't the overwhelming force that they once were on this map in particular.
Yeah, well, probably not. But if I'm Vexed, I'm probably looking. It's such a bummer that one of Vexed's worst maps is Dust 2 because they have the skill. You know, they have the individual talent, much like we've seen, like, you know, Kingwin or G2. Those guys just can run people over on that map just based off that skill. So the fact that it's actually surprising to me that it's one of their worst maps. Because that's where I think, actually, I know you just said you think it's one of Fnatic's stronger maps. I think it's a map that Fnatic's actually not weak, but exposed on. I think there's ways you can really hurt them on Dust 2. The
difference is, though, the teams that they lose to are amazing teams. They lose to TSM on Dust 2. You know, these are the teams you can lose to. They're amazing on that map. The problem is, a team like Vex, it's going to be hard for them to beat them on Dust 2. Like, Fnatic's fundamentals are so good that even though normally we think of Dust 2 as like the pugging map, etc., well, you see certain teams, Envious, TSM, Fnatic, they're incredibly good on the map consistently, though. Because the way they just play the map just as a fundamental aspect, I mean, at the end of the day, pugging is playing basic CS, and that's what the fundamentals are, and they're the best at that. So if they can play that style, and then they can play the tactical style.
So while we're just still waiting on that veto to come in, I think we've picked out 2 players that we've highlighted that we're going to do a head-to-head on. And of course, it's no surprise, Olofmeister, who's been heavily featured at the show. That's Olofmeister, not Hannameister, to everyone at home.
I was quite interested in what she had to say, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could tell by the way you were intently watching the screen.
I'd love to do an interview with her sometime, you know, maybe get me up for drinks or something.
Yeah, I'll see if we can arrange that. And obviously from Vex, we've picked Hyper, a player who has indeed, like I said, been known for some of his, you know, crazy performances. And indeed, yeah, very much crazy beard, a Linkin Park style effect thing going on. So let's talk about these 2 players and why we've highlighted them.
He might be crawling, you know, numb, faint, you know, close, you know, breaking the habit. At the end of the day,
I wish this was the end of the segment.
If it was, you'd be able to find a place to rest your head.
Right. Any others? No. Okay. So let's talk about these players. So obviously, Olofmeister and Hyper are the ones we picked out. I mean, we picked them out for very good reasons. They are kind of like the fraggers, if you like, in the team. We've already waxed lyrical about Olofmeister, so let's start with Hyper.
Yeah, the thing is, Hyper actually, I mean, you kind of referenced this before, but back in the days of end of 1.6, where you had not the original Golden Five, but one of the Golden Five lineups that had still won some majors, and it was a very good team. And the only new player at the time was they'd brought Pasha into the lineup to go with the other 4 legendary players, one of whom is a coach now behind them, Cuban. At the time, I used to talk to some of the players, and they were always saying, like, oh, if we did have to make a player change, the 2 people they were looking at there was Snacks, who obviously, I mean, it turned out did come into the team like a year and a half later. They did end up picking him up, but the other one was Hyper. That was someone else they were thinking about, and they're thinking, maybe this guy can come into the team. The problem is, as I seem to remember, at some point in the game, I think there was some sort of, people said that maybe Hyper had cheated, or there was some sort of confusion about that or something, so there's a reason as to why they didn't. Anyway, here we have basically the map pool going down live. Yeah, so you see here, presumably...
So 1 and 3 is obviously Fnatic vetoing. So Fnatic vetoes Overpass, Vex vetoes Mirage, and Fnatic vetoes +2.
So currently
I'm expecting...
Yeah, the next veto for Vex.
You'd expect Inferno to be the ban for Vex now, but actually they're going to ban Cash. I think that's actually a mistake, because actually of all the maps at the moment, that's the worst map for Fnatic. Now, it's not a great map for this team, they barely play it, but you'd think you want to be, if you've done your numbers, you want to be going towards it. I'd imagine they haven't looked up the stats for this, by the way. They've just looked and they said, right, these are the maps that we feel strong on. Fnatic has done the maths because they don't want to play on Train. Like I said, that's the one map that I wouldn't say Vex to be a favorite on, but it's the best map Vex could get in terms of it's not a great Fnatic map.
I'm surprised that Fnatic actually vetoes does too, but I think one other way that Vex can have an advantage is, you know, think about CLG up took them at the Pro League finals. They just religiously stratted out one map. Anti-stratted Fnatic, figured everything out, and maybe that's something that Vex is going to bring to the table.
Here's the thing though, we're in a situation now where I think it's random map selection for the last 2. I think it's like a split between the 2 as to who gets what, right? I don't think they pick. So if Cobble comes out, great for Vex. You've got one of your best maps, brilliant. Problem is if Inferno comes out, that's a map they've actually never played on LAN, at least in the last 3 months. So
playing with
that would be a nightmare to play Fnatic on that, who's extremely good on Inferno still, and that was the map that obviously they established the whole dynasty of Fnatic on. So actually this random element now is potentially going to decide, does Vex have a chance, or are they just going to get completely blown out?
And of course this is happening in real time, everyone at home, so we're going to be able to tell you which map it is, but you're absolutely right, Duncan, that cash ban coming in, and there we go, it looks like Cobblestone has come in. Vex have got that bit of luck that they needed. They avoid Inferno, and they're going to be starting CT side Cobble. So, right, let's start getting into what this means within the context of the game. I'm guessing we're feeling like out of what was left, probably is the best scenario for Vexed.
Here's the problem, okay. So Vexed in some ways share some similarities with Virtus Pro. Maybe because they take after their style, maybe they watch their demos, talk to them, play with them a little bit. And so as a result, yeah, they're both really good on Overpass, Cobble, Train, these maps that Virtus Pro are extremely strong on. The problem is, I know Virtus Pro to be an extremely good Cobblestone team, but when you looked at the stats for Cobble, it looked like actually they're not very good at all. It's kind of like an average record, one of their worst records. Then you look who they're losing to on Cobble, it's like all to Fnatic. They were losing like half the games to Fnatic. The problem is, Fnatic is not just good on Cobble, they're like supernaturally good. I mean, them losing to Liquid was a massive shock to me. I did not expect that. So I think even with this being a good map for Vexed, it's also a very good map for Fnatic. And they're a team where they could win on both sides of this map. It's not even like they have to start out and do well on T side. They could lock it down when they get to CT.
I think I heard actually when VP started playing Cobblestone, they actually took the help of Vexed, the former one, with the Hyper. So it was actually them that helped the Virtus Pro out to learn the map. So obviously they know how to play, So this was a while ago when VP, never played Cobblestone. They didn't want to play it, and then we're like, well, we need one more map. Which one should we pick? And then they knew that the other polls were quite good on it. So they're like, okay, what do you guys do? Like, we need help. Help us.
Well, that bodes well, actually. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, how are we going to call this one? Because obviously, I'm guessing Fnatic are the favourites based on the pedigree and history, but I think straight away at the top of the tournament, there is some upset potential.
I think we're sugarcoating it quite a bit. Trying to hype up the game or whatever. But
Fnatic.
Yeah, is the fifth Iron Fist coming down?
No, but yeah. It's like, right, I'm done now. No, move on. Okay. Yeah, I still see a chance for Vex. I think that they're heavily outmatched in this matchup, even though they got lucky with the
It's like I said, of all the matches in the tournament, this has to be one of the most one-sided you could get. The amount of potential for Fnatic to win is so overwhelmingly huge. It doesn't matter if there's any potential, almost. It's almost impossible to happen. It could, but that's why I'm setting it up like that. Because if it did somehow happen, I want people to realize it's extremely unlikely. It would have had to have, some incredible circumstances would have to have happened. So at the moment, put it this way, I couldn't figure out how Vex could win this game now. I don't know what they could do on either side. I don't know which player player would have to go crazy. There's one thing I do know, is that when Vexed plays on the T side of this map, they better have some answer for what's going to happen around that dropper room. Because all JW does is 24/7 go there with any gun he wants. Sawn off shotgun, Max 7, whatever. And he gets boosted, he plays different spots, he plays mid. That's always like a puzzle to solve in and of itself on that particular part of the map.
Yeah, I think it's actually very fortunate also that this is a map that's not, it's not favored heavily towards one side. It's a map that, 8-7, 9-6. You see those a lot, 10-5 sometimes. But it's not a map where, on Inferno, if they get that CT side, you're expected to win, 12-3, 11-4. And if they can keep that score close at halftime, they can at least have a shot at it. It all comes down to those beginning 5 rounds in each half. Who's going to get in control of the money situation early on, and then you can leverage the economy to really help propel you, even if you're outmatched. That's one way you can really neutralize things.
So I guess we're about ready to start getting into the game. So I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to humour the people at home. I've got a feeling I know what you're going to say, but predictions, gentlemen.
Fnatic.
Yeah. Okay.
Fnatic.
Okay. Very great. Well, look, it's been wonderful.
We get paid for this. That's mad.
The expert analysis. Fnatic. Okay. But anyway, look, it was great to get your thoughts, gentlemen. Really appreciate it. Now we are about ready to get into the game. We're going to be thrown over to our casters, and of course, it is going to be Anders and Semmel of the Dream Team, the leading CS:GO group. We're going to throw into that game now. Cobble. It's going to be Fnatic versus Vexed. Take it away.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Fnatic versus Vexed here, the first game of this major tournament in Cluj-Napoca. Semlet, how are you feeling? Are you excited for this one? Map turned out to be Cobblestone. Means some Cobblestone drops out there already.
I think a lot of people are excited to get another chance at a Cobble drop, but I mean, how often are we going to see Cobble this tournament, Anders? Because it felt like last major, Cobblestone was pretty much the map for every team out there. It was all about Cobble. We saw so much Cobble, it almost felt like 2 years ago when all we saw was Inferno. And now it's like Cobble is the new Inferno. You just see this map every series, it seems.
And it's turned out to be quite a good map, but also one that is pretty hard to figure out. It's hard to know exactly who the Cobblestone experts are right now, I feel like. Because, I mean, the stat that Thorin just brought up is interesting, isn't it? Versus Pro with sort of a bad record, but all their losses seem to be to Fnatic on a map like this. So maybe we should be careful every once in a while before we judge stats like that too harshly. Yeah. Everyone said Fnatic. How do you feel about this? Are you on the same boat here?
I have to be. I think any sane person has to basically go with Fnatic. You don't really have any option really, because this is the favorite team. They've won 2 majors this year. They're gunning for that triple crown. They want to lock down this year, all 3 of them. And good God, my picture is horrendous.
No, that's a good picture. You look excited. I don't know, I look like I'm just staring into the distance at this point in time. I was almost falling asleep during that photo session. It's too much.
It was
too much.
It was a bit of a stretch. It's
well,
the first time doing that too.
So it will be a genuine upset here, is what we can say. If Vexed come up with a bit of a win, they're a weird team as well, aren't they? This Polish lineup, because they seem to turn up a major. This is the second major that they've qualified for, which in itself is really good for a team that we hardly see in any other tournament. All the other online tournaments that are going on, Vexed aren't playing in them, so they put all the resources into these few big tournaments. I mean, it might be a really good strategy.
What, hide your game, play with your cards close to your chest, that sort of thing, where it's like you are going to be a little bit more difficult to predict. This sounds almost familiar. I think there were a couple of Australian teams that kind of had that going for them not too long ago. They've lost that edge now, Renegades, for example, but back in the day when they had that element of surprise, you didn't really know what to expect. I mean, that could be something that they can count on a little bit, perhaps. I just think that when you're going up against the most consistent player in major history, this man right there that we were specking, Flusha, you're not allowed any room for error. You have to just be able to shut him down. But when he is just so good in this environment, when it gets to major time, players like Flusha, they just come alive and completely dominate servers. Yeah, that's where you kind of have to just go with Fnatic and say, this is the 2-time major champion this year alone. They're going to pull through in this best of 1, even if it is on Cobble, even if it is against a team that perhaps could have a little bit of an edge in Hyper, for example, or an element of surprise. They're just going to be able to rely. Their personal game, Fnatic, is just too strong right now.
Yeah, I am excited though because Fnatic is a team that's also recently been showing a bit of a questionable form, so I am wondering if this could be sort of a test, a way for us early on in the tournament here to measure exactly how good they are.
Are you going to go with Vexed?
No, definitely not. But I'm going to say if Fnatic crushed Vexed here, then we might be seeing, sort of a Fnatic on really good form. If this turns into sort of a, 16-11, 16-12 time scoreline, then you got to wonder what that means for Fnatic sort of throughout the rest of the tournament here. But I definitely think Fnatic will win. And we are about to go live here, so I hope you guys are ready for it. Fnatic, they get to start on the terrorist side, and Vexed going to be on the CT side. And I have to agree with Thorin once again. I think Fnatic could easily win both sides on this map.
That's going to be the main issue here for Vexed. It's just that they have to come out swinging. I mean, it's always the case with the underdogs where they just need to get so many rounds where it's just they're not going to give Fnatic any room to work with in the next half, right? They have to be able to come out really strong here. And Vexed, especially in this current meta for CT, where it just feels so important to pick up the first 3 rounds to get your nades and everything.
I think this is Vexed having looked at Fnatic demos. Otherwise, I don't think you'd put a setup where you only have 2 people in B and really only 1. Grubby's in drop down. This is an insane setup here for Vexed. And because Fnatic are actually hitting the B bomb site, that's a lot of trouble here. Grubby going to go down. That leaves only one of the backlines. Furlan alive for just 1 kill, and he's going to be gone to Crims. JW fighting. He takes 1. Still got 1 bullet left, but he's not going to get a chance to reload. Pete will take him out. Bomb is down, though, and it's a 2 versus 3.
Yeah, and Crims gets the necessary info. They already knew one player was playing from Connector. Now they know where the rest of them are coming from as well. The 2 players here for Vexed trying to push onto this site. They have to worry about the Triangle of Doom that has been set up, and look at that. It just looks so easy. Everybody peeks at the same time. Olafmeister and Flusha both finding headshots in the end, and this is the worst case scenario for Vex. Just starting off, getting hammered in the pistol, especially when it's so important for you to get the confidence to go up against a top-tier team like Fnatic, to just get slammed right from the start. Fnatic, not that they had a shred of mercy before, in them, Anders, they're already demonstrating that now.
Not really, not really. I mean, traditionally, and you guys will see this throughout the tournament as well, the meta game right now on this map, if you're on the CT side, you end up stacking as many people as you think you possibly can get away with on the B-bomb side. And especially in pistol rounds, you kind of got to control drop and mid. Pronax here, and a bit of an adventure. He goes down, and so does Crims. Falls to Rallen. Bit of a return frag there with the sawn-off shotgun on Pete from JW, but still, this is a bit of a questionable second round from Fnatic. Yeah, I definitely think Vexed had something planned for that pistol round that was outside of the norm, because otherwise I don't think they would have gone for that setup.
This is where Fnatic have to be careful, though. Like that pistol, it went really well for them. Now they can't get too excited. Perfect play there, using the Molotov to check the angle. Now we're into the 3-on-3 take here on the B side. Fnatic getting set up now to get that bomb plant down, but Rallen with the dig, he's already taking out JW.
A nice shot there. Furlan going to be taking down Olafmeister. Flusha alone, and you did say it, the most consistent player in tournament history here, and we'll see if he can actually clutch this 1 versus 3. He's got the time for it, and he's got certainly the weapon as well. He's going to be walking around here, about 30 seconds left now. You've got to be really careful. The bomb is out in the open as well, and the Polish players there on the other side. Flusha going to take down Rallen. Now Grubby, the only one left alive, and see if he can actually find him here.
This is a really clever gamble. Fnatic, I mean, you can clearly tell that Flusha expects there to be a backstab of some sort, that it was a crossfire, but Vex put both players onto that site. So Flusha, he's having to figure this out. He's actually going to walk right into Groovy, and Groovy with the CZ75, this close, just takes the shot.
He's got no bullets. He's out of ammo now. He's only got the knife. He's around the corner. Flusha going to take him out. It's ridiculous. Oh, no. I was wondering, why did you stop shooting? I hadn't noticed, and that was going to be it. He only had the 1 bullet. It had to be a headshot, and it wasn't. What a way to start. It's going to put us into the 3rd round here, and Vexed, I mean, even if they did so much damage, for them to buy now and try and put Fnatic economically behind, that would be insane.
No, there's no way. They took their risk. You can see, I mean, a couple of players have actually got some money going into this. That's why you see Rallen going up to a Deagle, for example. A bit more of an expensive pistol to work with here rather than going for the cheap P250 option. But yeah, 3 guys on Vexed having to go for the hard eco. And this will give, I mean, JW another chance to put that sawn off. Pretty much the only guy who does this, he's the man who started doing this, using this sawn off shotgun. It's the shortest range shotgun. But when you're up close like this, he's just looking for an easy target and drop. Not going to find one, though. And there, you see him swap out to the CZ once he has to do the long-range work.
And that's all there is to it. Also, I think a bit of a sign that, they want to keep their confidence a bit here on the Fnatic side. Not afraid of that last round. JW will go down. Not the biggest loss, but when Crims dies as well, that's a very bad start. Pronax trying to bring it back, and Grubby's going to go down to a grenade there. And a good follow-up from Flusha with a double kill. It's going to be Rallen and Pete left. And Fnatic stabilizing here, but I think some rounds here that are more expensive than Fnatic were really looking for. So I'd say so far Vexed have done a pretty good job.
In these second rounds, you're right. I mean, the follow-up, where it was a 1v1, and now it's going to be a 1v3 unless Pete can actually manage to pull off something here. He is playing from drop, but Flush is watching the angle. If Pete tries to come around this corner, Flusha will spot him. Very nice work there, and no escape. An extra $300 going to Flush's pocket, and another round on Fnatic's score. So 3-0, and now we go into the first big buy round. This is going to be the second crucial moment, essentially, after that pistol for Vexed. Now they've got the rifles, now they've got the nades. They have to figure out where Fnatic are going to take this fight.
Yeah, no AWP picked up on anybody yet, so a bit of an interesting sign. In spite of the, if you look at the map architecture, it looks like a map that lends itself very well to AWPing. It's not always necessary. It's been proven time and again that you can control pretty much every choke on this map without an AWP, so some teams make really good use of it. We've seen Mouse Sports, I think, a couple of games where Chris J has gone completely mad with it, but it's not, I think, a requirement in that sense.
I mean, the one round that comes to mind is when you got an ace right up here in the apartments, and
yeah,
that was ridiculous. But, sometimes Chris J, he's just one of those players who can go completely wild. We will have the defensive smoke go up into drop, so only a single man holding there for now. That's Groovy. The rest of the B defense, Hyper and Furlough, and they're hanging out on the site itself, and one is close to drop, so it's going to come down to whether Olafmeister, the man who used to just be dominant on Plateau, until people started to figure out his tendencies, he's going to be taking point here.
50-some seconds left. They are going to make their way out on that plateau. Hyper playing close up. Furlan's a little bit further back behind the statue, and they've got to be careful. Nice shot there. Hyper going to take down one. Still got plenty of bullets left here. He's playing with the M4A4. They've done terrific damage already. Fnatic very low, and if they get this round Vexed, then Fnatic won't have that much money. And a double grenade to take down both those players. Crimson JW gone in one split second, and it's going to be up to Flusha now. 1 versus 5. Trying to see if he can stay alive up here and maybe do a little bit of damage. They need at least a couple of kills, and Flusha is going to give him the first one.
Yeah, he's still got that bomb. He's just not going to have the time. He's got 20 seconds left, 34 HP, finds 2 kills so far, but he's in a 1v3, and the flank is going to come in from Pete. Easy kill there. But what that round boils down to is the nades. When we're talking about Vex going into this rifle, why they're needing to save all their money in the third round when they lost the force buy in the second, they needed all the nades that they possibly could have, and this is why. Fnatic, they get bogged down. It was actually one big anti-flash that got thrown in by Vex. Wow. The timing was perfect. It stopped all 3 players on Fnatic on that plateau, and that allows for Vex to get into position to just whittle Fnatic down. So Fnatic, they need to be more decisive. When they're throwing out those flashes, they have to take advantage of it, because then they just turn into targets. Then there's nothing they can do.
Can I just, because this is the first time that we actually get a chance to do this, Samla, can we just give a bit of an appreciation for how incredibly skilled the PGL team is at doing this stuff? It's so cool. Like all the camera angles and all the replays there. I love it. Mm-hmm. Now, 5th round is coming up, and that early round win here for Vexed, and because they did the damage earlier on, Fnatic, they're back to almost nothing here. Yeah. This used to be a strength of Fnatic, just like with Envy. They keep buying, they keep putting the pressure on, and eventually the opponent breaks. But right now it's Vex putting on the pressure, and we'll see if they can pick up this win as well. It'll be a huge turnaround early on.
Well, I like the change of pace here from Pronax. They're going to change up all the angles. Good spray going on to Pronax, though. That's an AK down, but it immediately gets picked up by Crims, and JW in drop finds a kill on Groovy with that shotgun. But it's going to be Pete. He's boosted up. They have no idea, Fnatic. They walk right into him, and that's completely falling apart now for Fnatic. Once again, it's going to be one last man standing here, Olafmeister. He's got that bomb, but he has no way to get out onto the site.
Fantastic round so far from the Polish side, and we'll see if Olaf can do a bit of damage. He's going to walk right into Ralling, goes down. They lost 2 people last round on Vex side. This time it's only 1, so their economy is going to be stronger. Fnatic, no bomb plant. They just won't have the money to buy. This is a really big switch early in the game.
And I'm sure we're going to get this replay, and here it is. It's so unfortunate for Fnatic, just in the sense that Pete's in the one spot that will counter that smoke execute. You saw how the smokes were blooming. Fnatic had just nicely cut off connector. They cut off behind Van as well. They would only have to worry about the site itself. But then Pete just happens to be boosted up. He spots them making his way out. And of course, yeah, Vex are just going to keep putting him up there. Like, okay, now Fnatic, you got a real threat here. How are you going to handle it?
Oh. So far, they're playing it very cool on the CT side. You can tell already that they've got a lot of grenades saved. Even in that B-bomb side, where you tend, especially if you're a little bit nervous, which you would be playing Fnatic at this point, you tend to throw all your grenades on that plateau right at the beginning, because you don't want to be rushed down. But they're doing a really good job. They're keeping that cool here. You could Grubby picking up 3 kills, no hesitation at all, and it's going to be a smooth round here from Vex Gaming. This is turning into a very, very interesting game already.
Yeah, this is ugly. Fnatic running in one after another. You know, these aren't the, you know, this is one of the teams that basically started off with the death group, with the group that would run around. It would be like 3 or 4 players, and they just march right through as a group. So if one of them goes down, doesn't matter, because the next one in line is going to be able to pick up that refrag, and that's how Fnatic would just, you know, pound their way through the defense. We're just watching Fnatic get picked off one at a time. I mean, granted, it is an anti-eco round here for Vexed, and nothing really picked up for Fnatic, only pistols. But now we need to see if that's going to carry through, if Fnatic are going to keep hesitating and losing players one at a time.
Right, but so many matches where Fnatic are a little bit down, then they at least get so much out of their eco rounds that, you know, they still get the damage in, so the other team has to buy up a lot of rifles here. Only one who's lacking money right now is Hyper on the CT side, and on Fnatic we'll see again no AWP, still not a single one being in play so far, and we're starting off in the 7th round here. See if they can change their pace very quick in the middle. Just the terrorist side, just establishing a bit of control. You can see the bomb is not picked up yet, so they haven't gone for any kind of real push, although Olofmeister trying to get out on that plateau is going to get shut down by Hyper.
Yeah, that was a great read there by Hyper. Again, Pete boosted up, is going to pick off Pronax. JW will be there to take out Groovy, but this is the threat now, is that JW controls this connector area. Timing couldn't be worse for him to pull out a nade, though JW goes down and Rollin takes out Flusha in the meantime. So it's going to be down to Crim's last man here in a 1v4 for Fnatic. But again, just getting picked off one after another. These are the sorts of situations where there's just so much individual talent on Fnatic. They could excel in, you know, they're going to win those duels. But we saw, what, 2-3 kills there where Fnatic, there's just no way for them to answer.
And look at this right here. Also, the setup from Vex's side, you can tell how keenly aware they are that they need to stay alive with all these rifles. They can't give anything up. And they also realize that if they fight Crims one at a time, there's a real chance he'll win all those 4 fights and clutch the round. So they're not giving him really much to work with here. He's going to spot one guy in the corner, and you see him clicking it away. There's Furlan going down, and Hyper hiding in the background here by the henhouse. Crims has the bomb, and he really wants to put it down. Gonna just test it once. Hyper should be in an optimal position, and now they're closing in around him, so time is essentially up for Crims. He's just going to go for the plant, and once he gets it down, he shouldn't be able to escape. He goes down to Hyper. It's about the best that Crims could have already done there. So a kill and a bomb plant, it's going to give them a little bit more to work with, but still, I've got to say, right now, I'm really impressed by Vex here so far.
They're looking excellent. They're looking very good. Dialed in on what Fnatic are trying to throw at them here. They're winning all the individual duels with clever positioning. The timing that it worked out as well. Olofmeister, those 2 steps that he took before he dropped that flash, that's all Hyper needed to turn away from the flash, not be blinded, and take Olofmeister out before he could get through the smoke. Those kinds of situations, I mean, Vex are clearly showing that they're up to snuff, that they're up to the task. And now we have to see, you know, Fnatic, because of that bomb plant, because Crims went for the safe play rather than trying to win the round, he just guaranteed his team the money. Now they actually get a buy out of it. But again, Vexed changing it up. This time we're seeing a boost and drop.
I'm super curious about what grenade it is Vex is throwing over at A long, because they keep putting the same grenade up over there, and we haven't really seen it yet, so maybe we can follow that in one of the upcoming rounds. Right now, Hyper playing close to the hole in the wall here by the plateau. See if he could find someone early on, but looks like they might try and boost him up here. Get a bit of an edge on the Fnatic team.
Ah, they want to put the AWP up there, Furlan now. That's a little bit dangerous. A good flash and rushing bodies coming out of there. I mean, an AWP can kind of work against you sometimes. If you get that one shot and you miss it, you could just get overrun. Oh, I thought he was going to pull the trigger there for a second. That would have been scary.
He's ready for it, and he's got Hyper here, maybe to try and slow them down a little bit. Nobody so far from Vex is pushing up anywhere, so they're going to be careful. Olofmeister's going down here. Grubby's going to spray down one. He goes for a second, can't land it. Still a really good start here for Vex as they get a couple of kills in. See if they can actually get the bomb down on this side. Fnatic, though, in the corner. Hyper's hiding. He's going to only get the 1 kill, so still not a bad situation either for Fnatic. If they could just get the bomb plant through, but Pronax stopping in the middle of everything. A little bit of hesitation, and that gets him killed.
Now it's JW. He spots him as well, but they see him go up to the platform. Now he's kind of stuck. Oh, he wants to go for the AWP. Could go for the shots. He's going to miss the first one. Just dancing around. This is pure JW here, but the smoke goes down to block him off. And now this gives Vex a little bit of room to move. Again, JW, is he just going to be trying to go for the plant? He's only got 7 seconds left. He doesn't have time to mess around. He hits the first shot. 4 seconds, just enough time to get this bomb plant. And now he's turned it into a 1v1. JW, he's in a position to win this, but he has to figure out where the second man is. He has to figure out where Pete's playing from. And if Pete actually walks around this corner, he could actually pick off JW, but JW, he's on the hunt. He's closing in. Pete checks, and Pete hits the headshot. A clutch win this time for Vexed in a 1v1 versus one of the best clutchers in the world.
Yeah, and I mean, for anyone new watching, that kind of movement, I hope you guys can tell at home how different it is when JW does it from almost every other player. you have that sense that he probably could have pulled that off, but really good job from Vexed and not giving up that initial bomb site there, buying enough time for the rotation to come in, Hyper hiding in the corner. Not a lot that you can do there. He got the kill and died, but it all bought time for the players in the A bomb site to try and get there. Now 5-3, and that's 5 straight rounds in a row here for Vexed. And the early kill on from Furlan here onto Crims. It'll be a really good start.
It's a shame we didn't see it from his perspective because Fnatic were putting flashes in there for just that kind of situation. So it might have been that he was blinded, but he had the angle, pulled the trigger, and Crims just happened to be standing there. But another thing going wrong here for Fnatic at the beginning of a very crucial round. Hyper's right on the edge, but this time Olafmeister, he's through the smoke and ready and waiting, so he brings it back to a 4-on-4. And now this is a situation that favors Fnatic.
It absolutely is, and they've got plenty of time as well. I am curious about the fact that Vex don't go for any kind of information play over on that A side, because they have, I mean, obviously we can look at the minimap and see they have the room for it, but teams usually try at some point, so we'll see if that's going to happen. Grubby here spraying, but not going to get the kill, and that's going to leave a lot of trouble for Rallen.
And Olaf already in position here trying to look onto that site. Rallen gets caught out by Pronax. It's going to be Pete and Furlan, the remaining 2 players here for Vex, both playing from Connector. Fairly standard fare. Fnatic, though, they should have time to set up that triangle defense. And there's the first kill. JW just peeks out, takes Furlan's face off, and it's going to be down to Pete now. Last man remaining here for Vexed. So Fnatic starting to get some momentum. JW, a free AWP, playing from the back as well. And will he get the shot? Yes, he will. JW, fine work from him. 2 kills in the end. But there's an important round for Fnatic, keeping 3 players alive as well, so they can actually drop 2 AKs and get a very good good buy in this round.
Okay, so what we could almost say this round is that Vexed fell victim to what we could call the Cobblestone challenge, which is when you have only a player in drop and 1 in B, or even if you have 2 in B, what tends to happen is as soon as you lose control of either plateau or drop, you get sandwiched in on the side. You have to hold both, which is why some teams have tried to figure out like different ways of holding so that it doesn't just all depend on that one guy getting killed. Because as soon as Grubby went down and dropped, there was almost no way that Rallen was going to hold on to that site. It's very, very hard to do.
You're just exposed. One flank gets completely opened up. What it looked like to me watching the minimap there, where those A players were playing from for Vexed, it looked like they were actually trying to set up to counter that smoke play that we saw from Fnatic earlier. They were really close up to the apartments, the entrance there, so they would be within that smoke radius. So already you can see the teams kind of just adjusting their play here based on what they've seen.
Oh, Pete turning his back. If that flashbang actually saved him, and he's back around the corner. He's got to be very, very careful right now. And he's going to be down by JW ultimately. So now that's 5 versus 4. Rallen hiding in the corner. Pop flash comes out, and JW's going to walk right in front of him. Rallen actually some trigger discipline. He's going to get the kill. Could have maybe got a second one on Olaf. A little bit preoccupied behind him. It's going to be Flusher to take him out, and now it's looking good still. 3 versus 3 here in favor of Fnatic, who are on the bomb side. They just need the bomb to get up here.
Good pacing here by Vex. They're waiting for that bomb plant sound. There's the shot, the peek from Connector. Find the perfect timing to take out Olafmeister, and now it is that man advantage. See if Furlan can make it last, though. Pronax is going to take him out, and it's going to be down to Groovy and Hyper, the remaining 2 players here for Vex. Trying to move up, but this time Pronax stepping up his game, turns it into a 1v1. Crims has got the advantage due to health, but then Hyper with the angle steps out, catches Crims looking the wrong way. And Vex will be picking up that 6th round.
And an absolutely crucial round win here. Again, shutting down the Fnatic economy. They get the bomb plant because they killed 4 people. This would be where I could see Fnatic taking a big risk here and just saying, all right, we have to buy. We know that we killed 4 of them. We know that their economy is going to be impacted by it, and ours is going to be just good enough here. So they will risk it and try and buy. It's not really a big risk considering that they can still buy 3 AKs and Galil and Stornoff here. Not too bothered about that. Not sure if I think the Stornoff is worth it at this point. I think I would have much rather have seen JW with a Tech 9. Tech 9 armor and grenades.
JW things, right?
Yeah, but it's especially ridiculous because they actually don't have that many grenades on everyone else. He could have had a lot more to work with.
He's going to be taking point, actually. He gets spotted, though. Great spray by Groovy, but this is... What a mid-air headshot onto Crims! Okay. I thought for a second there that JW had done his job. If Crims' feet had touched the ground, he could have taken that fight. What a crucial kill.
Yeah.
And well, there goes the shotgun. You know, the whole point of that shotgun is to go and die, but get the info for his team to follow up and get the kill. And now it's falling apart now for Fnatic. Ruby finds a headshot on Olafmeister.
He's gone mad at this point. Furlan going to take a kill on Pronax, and Flush is the last man left. It's looking like a clean victory here in the 11th round for Vexed. And of got to say I'm very impressed. And, you know, not to be that guy, but what would have happened if there'd have been a Tech9 in front there and a pop flash in to try and stop Grubby from getting that kill? I'm saying those grenades actually do matter, especially when you take drop like this. But this second kill from Grubby is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just the timing. Again, it's disjointed on Fnatic's side. Crims was just a couple seconds too late, and that gives Ruby the time to reset. And you know, we're talking about, you know, Fnatic players just dying one after another. That's a clear case of it. Crims trying to force it afterwards. He's trying to like, okay, well, now I know there's a guy there. Maybe I can get it, but he's just that half second too late. So this is a level of like hesitation that we're not used to seeing from Fnatic. We're used to seeing them win these duels straight up, and then if it comes down to the brute force method, just being very good on, you know, the timing between when teammates take fights and being able to follow up to get the refrag, which is basically get the follow-up kill.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a cleanup here. Crims with a kill just to try and do a little bit, and Pronax going to be overrun at the end. I've actually heard it said from various top teams when they have some of these sort of, you know, kind of bad performances, especially early on. You ask them afterwards, what happened? Well, they say, well, we came into this match with a plan, but somehow we forgot about it until very late in the game, and suddenly we realized, wait a minute, you know, why don't we just do what we planned to do? And then they pick it up again, which sounds a little bit ridiculous. And especially at a major level, you should be there. They've got a coach there as well. Everything should be on point. But right now, it definitely feels like Fnatic are, you know, they're not sticking to what we usually see them do, and it is a little bit upsetting.
Lacking that confidence.
Pete with some early damage here in the follow-up Molotov. Are they going to really try to go for this? They will. He actually burns himself, and that's not the best way to start.
That's a little awkward. Explaining that to the teammates. We have the rotation now coming out towards that A side as well. That's going to be Furlan trying to get over there, put that AWP into play. He's looking into mid as well, so if JW takes that peek, he sometimes does. He steps out there, that could be an opportunity for Vexed to bring this back. But Fnatic, they still have the nades necessary for an execute if they want to go for it. They're a little light on the flashes, but they all still have their smokes. So they could make this really tricky here for Vexed, who are playing far back on the site this time. There's no boosted up Pete. There's nobody holding close to the entrance to the apartment. So this could be the moment here for Fnatic to really go for that A smoke.
See if they're going to try and do it. I would say as soon as you get that opening frag, rotating B must be very, very tempting for Fnatic because it's so hard to hold B with once you're a man down. But they're going to try and see if they could do it here. Furlan with a good opening frag on all of Mice. That's going to even out the odds a little bit here, but Molotov goes up to buy some time. 30 seconds for Fnatic to make it in. Are they going to have the time?
He's cutting it really close. Rollin and Furlan, there's the crossfire. It's going to be down to Flusha and Crims, and Gruby right below the balcony manages to pick off the one. Still, Crims alive. We've seen him get close before, but it's not meant to be this time around. And what's going on? Like, Fnatic throwing two smokes into connector as well? Is the communication not on point right now? Are they doubting each other?
Yeah, there's definitely something up. And again, I think you mentioned the word hesitation. You can tell, you know, how once they telegraph that they're on the site, like, there's no point in really stopping too much of that. You gotta keep moving. And they were really slowing down. Good position from Grubby as well, because he can see the shadow on the floor before, on the ground before anything actually happens. So he's really able to get those free fires in there.
And, you know, you've got the guys set up in apartments. If Olafmeister, why isn't there a flash coming out of the apps? You know, just something towards that connector area. I mean, obviously 20/20 hindsight, etc. But, you know, the likelihood of Furlan, he's shown that he likes to play connector with that op. So if you're just going to step out into the open right in front of him, that is a little bit risky. 14th round, though, and now Fnatic, it's a combination buy. It's a quasi-buy coming out from them. A few Tech-9s, some P250s, handful of nades, and it's going to be the push onto the B site very quickly here, but Hyper and Gruby are in position. Furlan still alive on this site. Right there on the edge, Pronax is gone, and another 4 players living for Vex. They just seem to be getting these racking up these rounds where it's just very clean wins versus Fnatic. $12,000 on Gruby.
Yeah, and so for this 15th round, they've got everything that they could possibly need. No need for any extra money here. And we are in the last round of the first half, so we'll see how much further they can push it here. I mean, even if this finishes 11-4, I won't rule Fnatic out of it. Historically, they've shown to be a team that can make some pretty ridiculous comebacks, and the skill gap between these two teams should be such that Fnatic can sort of rectify almost anything. But right now, I've got to say this Polish team is looking great. Good opening from Flusher, and Pete, less trigger discipline this time, and he ends up dying for it.
Yeah, they didn't even check that corner going right in. But some good anti-flashes again coming out here from Vex, trying to slow Fnatic down. Pronax up on the side is going to spot the first man close, and he does manage to survive as well, playing peekaboo. Not going to work in the end. 2-on-2 now, and out in the open, Furlan just gets completely slapped. Hyper is not going to be in a 1v2 versus Flusha and Crims. Still some nades left to use as well. Crims could chuck that flash to buy some more time. He's just going to dunk an HE in there, though, but doesn't really do any damage. And there's no saving in the last round of the half, Anders.
No, it's going to be all up to Hyper here, see if he could clutch it. He's got a little bit of time with the kit as well. Picked up a smoke there. He only had the Molotov before. See if he could put that to good use. But he's already making a bit of noise. They know where he is. And Fnatic, they're playing very well together right now, just trying to see if they can distract him. And that's going to be it. Flusher with the last kill there. Triple for him in the round. And a 10-5 scoreline. Top fragger is Flusher, in spite of them being pretty far behind, together with Furlan there. But overall, you know, Olofmeister kind of almost disappearing from the match here. 3 kills in 15 rounds. Not good enough.
It's the return of the old guard, the first major winning team. You know, Flusha, JW, Pronax, they were part of the original Fnatic roster that won the first major for CSGO ever. And Crims and Olofmeister, we're not used to seeing these guys sit at the bottom. I mean, Crims on CT side is really his time to shine a lot of the times, it seems. But Olof, you know, he's the kind of guy who just steps in and gets work done. So for him to be sitting on 3 frags, feels almost odd. It doesn't feel like you should be able to say it, but like, is there so much pressure on Fnatic right now that you know, they have so much on their minds? Is this impacting their game at all? In particular,
it could well be. I mean, that it must be that there is a lot of pressure on them. You can tell. I think all of those is the kind of person who responds well to it, but it might not be. I mean, I'm actually wondering now. We've got like a minute and a half here between the 2 halves. I'm not sure if that's going to be quite enough time for Olof to get really angry at himself, but I think if they come close, or if they lose this match, but even if they come close to losing it, actually probably even after this performance in the first half, Olof is going to go backstage and have a serious conversation with himself and say, hey, that this is not good enough, and he's going to come back stronger. But it kind of needs to be now, though.
Exactly. They're running out of rounds to basically mess around with here. 10-5.
Yeah.
And that is not a very good scoreline for Fnatic, especially considering, you know, Cobblestone has kind of taken that shift over towards more of a T-sided map. Right now, they just got rolled. That's it. The long and short of it, they just got completely rolled over by a team that they probably went into this thinking this shouldn't be a problem. Vexed, you know, and that is actually a weakness that's been shown by some top teams in the past. You know, VP were one of them. Fnatic has been burned by this in the past as well, where it's like they underestimate their opponents sometimes. They just think, you know, what's the next match? Oh, right, okay, so we might be playing either Luminosity or Cloud9. What are we going to do there? And that can cost you. You can never allow yourself to let your guard down versus these teams.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like certainly I underestimated Vexed a little bit. I expected maybe they could get into double figures, but you know, that was at the end of the second half, not at the beginning of it. So we're gonna see here, second half is coming up right now. The Polish team Vexed leading with 5 rounds against Fnatic. Now they're gonna be playing the terrorist side, see if they can win the pistol round. They didn't win the pistol in the first half though, and if they had, just imagine what the scoreline would have been.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah, incredible. They would have completely tombstoned Fnatic. And now, well, it seems to me like Furlan is kind of dancing around on the edge of platform, trying to look for an opening in the smoke. Olofmeister going to drop one down, and now it's going to turn into this waiting game, the mind games between these plateau players. Who's going to peek where? Bomb is still kind of hanging around B side as well, but Vexed, I do like the fact that they are checking behind them to make sure that nobody on Fnatic side is pushed in over at A. Some random shots going through there onto Olofmeister.
Which is so cheap to do with a Glock as well, because you have so many bullets, you might as well try it. Still putting out a little bit while the rest is rotating back towards the A bomb side. And Flusher, I think he may have spotted them out. Olaf going to win that first fight, though. We'll see if they can make it all the way back. Flusher, the only one holding the A bomb side, trying to see if he can look for a couple of kills here as they cross by. It would be important, but Rallen's going to take him out. Pronax with a shot through, drops him in return, and Grubby trying to control the hole there, but not going to make it work. JW, the dual elite's going to get 2 kills. All headshots, looking for another one here. He's clicking calmly away. Look at the dancing going on there. Crims finally going to be able to take down Pete, and no bomb plant. And Fnatic winning a really important round for themselves.
That was some Hollywood stuff. If JW had been flying through the air, both guns blazing, I would have believed it, right? Because he's just dancing. He's got so many bullets, he doesn't have to worry about reloading. So he's just like, I'm actually just going to try and stay alive as best I can. Maybe one of these bullets that I'm, you know, filling the air with will connect with them. But the important thing is just make myself a hard target to hit.
Max Payne style?
Damn straight. Bullet time. But I mean, now Fnatic, wow, look at this from Fnatic though. They go full SMG, apart from one shotgun on Olofmeister. They have to realize that Vex could go for the force buy. And yeah, we see the trade kill in Underpass already, and it looks like Vex just wants to go straight out onto the site, but what a long-range shot from Olofmeister. Headshot onto Furlan to get the first kill.
He's down to 4 health, so got to be a little bit careful. Crims holding a really good angle here, minimal exposure for him. And they are dropping very low on the Polish side as well. Pronax picking up 2 with the SMG, and Hyper going to be the last guy left, making a lot of noise, and Crims Doesn't wait to shoot until his feet hit the ground. He's just going to go mid-air instead. So a good round here for Fnatic overall. Even though they lost a couple of players, because they had all those SMGs and the shotgun, it's still gonna kind of pay off for them.
Yeah, now we can start to see that kind of upgrade going in here. Slowly but surely, they'll eliminate the SMGs. They have the money, so they're just going to go straight up to the M4 rifles here. Pronax and JW, you can see going for those. Good nade count here on Fnatic as well, and this is just going to be the hard eco out of Vex. No surprise, no bomb plant either round. No bomb plant, and so they are really light on money at this point. So Furlan might actually have a little bit of an issue getting enough money for that AWP. Unless they can get a bomb plant here in this round, Vexed, it'll be a little tricky for them to really establish that strong offense.
Flusher almost getting caught then. It was a little bit scary because if he's a little bit further up, then they double peek him and he's only got the SMG. That could be ugly. And we'll see how much Vexed are going to rely on that AWP. I mean, Fnatic were in a position in that first half where they almost couldn't afford it. Maybe like once or twice they could have, but they didn't really choose to go for it.
Shots, well, there we go, Flusher. At least he catches out Furlan here, and it seems like JW's got an idea. Spots one man, they trade places, so he doesn't actually know how many people are coming at him, but they are trying to keep the pressure up here, just whittling him down, and eventually JW will fall without getting a single kill, but a touchdown nade does massive damage from Pronax. And it's going to be that 3-on-4. Now a 2-on-4 as Crims rotates in to support his teammate, and it is going to be down to Groovy and Hyper. They have the M4, and they're hoping to make good use of it. I mean, Hyper's still crouched back there on Plateau. Perhaps he's going to be able to pick up a surprise kill, but Olafmeister spots him. With that Swag 7, it's going to be really tough for him to stay alive.
Oh, you got Crims killed at least, so still not too bad of a round here for Vex. Getting a couple of kills in with minimal investment. And here we see they are going to go for all AKs. AWP will be picked up on the other team, though, and JW obviously the guy to wield that. So 10-8, and suddenly it seems like a very open game again here. Fnatic winning 2 pistol rounds, it does have a really big impact on the game still.
Yeah, and Furlan was at 4,700. He was just $50 short of affording that AWP. I was curious to see if he would just barely make it, and then be able to go for a glass cannon, something to play with there. But instead, Vex prioritizing the HEs. JW up close. Did he not spot the AK barrel there?
No, I don't think he did. Now he's sitting right at the edge. A bit interesting.
Oh, this could be really scary. Once these nades start coming in here, JW, yeah, he needs some room to work with. He needs to be able to give himself an out to just stay alive a little bit longer. Molotovs, flashes, full smokes, and the Molotov behind the box as well. JW, if he's right on the edge, he needs to hit that first shot, but he's got nowhere to go.
They line up for Crims, and he gets 2 in return. Grubby with the double of his own, though, and now it's back into a 2 versus 3. Grubby, see if he can pull his team through right now. 50 seconds left. A grenade is going to be raining in. Bomb still not planted. The Fnatic have so much time, but Grubby finding a 3rd kill, and Pronax crouched in the corner. He's going to win that fight. That would have been a disaster for Fnatic. That would have been a quad kill for Grubby if he could have picked that up. Now Pete, 1 versus 2, but he's got some time. Does jump off the ledge. Not sure he made so much noise there. I don't think they heard that.
With no reaction out of Flusha. He's actually heading back into drop right now. So if Pete does decide to come through connector, I mean, there is the element of surprise here. He could catch them off guard. He has been spotted, though. Pronax should have seen him, and now, yeah, life gets difficult because up close Flusha with that Swag 7. Perfectly lethal. 2 shots, and it's actually Pronax who's going to rob him in the end. But well played there in the end by Fnatic, trying to just close off the angles, making sure that they weren't exposing their backs so that Pete couldn't get an easy frag. It was very good to have Pronax sitting all the way back on the side, just spotting towards connector, not making it very easy there for the remaining Vex player.
Wondering if Pete saw Pronax in return as well, because if he did, then that henhouse in the back there is just basically made of cardboard. You can shoot right through it and deal a lot of damage. So I'm wondering if he just didn't feel like going for it, or if he didn't actually see him. Kind of made it like a movement, like he was aware that someone might have been there, but just a little bit too scared. I think 10-9, and moving into the 20th round. Fnatic just bringing themselves back in this game, you've got to say. And Flusha here could get shot in the back, but the team is actually just going to continue. They're not going to slow down, so Flusha gets the kill on the bomb carrier, and now they're all up in the bomb site with no bomb.
What is going on? Yeah, Vexed, you just left your bomb carrier alone to peek an underpass. You can run up onto the side all you want, but if you don't have a bomb plant, I mean, you are not going to win this round. So Olafmeister gets caught, but still 4 players alive here for Fnatic. A minute left on the clock here for Pete to make something happen. He's got that deagle. Seen how effective that's become after the last update. It just seems to see, you just see like deagle aces all over the place.
We'll see. Ooh, Crims with his knife out, but not gonna matter. No armor there, so pretty easy kill. What really surprised me is that they didn't group up on Flusha. You know,
yeah, they didn't rush him.
Yeah, as soon as he misses the first kill there in underpass, that could have been really bad. That's gonna equalize the score, make it 10-10. Gonna move into the very last stages of this match.
And talking about pressure earlier, right, where we were wondering if Fnatic were the ones who were starting to crack a little bit, showing some tension. That kind of mistake could be, Vexed also starting to feel the heat a little bit here. Fnatic now have tied the score up 10-10. They're perfectly capable of taking the next rounds. Their money is starting to look pretty decent on Fnatic, especially after a good anti-eco like that. So, I mean, Vexed are starting to feel the heat, I think, Anders.
Oh, but look at this. JW's actually boosted up behind him. He's going to get the first kill, and now they have to move in on this bomb site. Otherwise, they're going to be sandwiched. Pronex playing close to the statue here, right in front of him. Grubby is going to be going down. Good grenade. Furlan to follow up as well, and Pronex finally dies, but it's too late here. Rallon, the only one left, and now against 4 people trying to hide up on that plateau, but they are coming from every angle. They get the bomb plant. That's about the best we can say for this round here. That's going to be Fnatic taking the round lead for the first time since they won the pistol in the first half. 11-10, and I think you're absolutely right though. Vexed, the pressure has got to be on. They must realize themselves how much they got out of that first half, and to feel it sort of slipping away now, it's going to be really frustrating.
No, exactly, and that's where it really starts to ratchet up, and that's where the experience comes into play. When you've been in those situations where it's time to grind, where you're just going to be able to, you have to count on the tactics, you have to be able to count on everybody just playing at their utmost. Vex, they don't necessarily have that experience, whereas Fnatic, they have it in spades. I mean, we're talking about 2-time major championship winners this year alone. They're looking for the Triple Crown, Fnatic. That would be incredible if they were to win this one. Be the first team, well, they're already the first team to win back-to-back majors, but to extend that lead to 3,
yeah, that would be quite a nice run. There's been a lot of skepticism recently about whether or not that's actually going to happen, because they don't look like they're in a sort of a godlike form, and I think this match has already been a decent indication of that, maybe. Pronex, though, with a good opening frag there. Grubby going to go down, and that is going to leave Vexed in a bit of an awkward position. If he got the kill, though, you can tell the rest of the team would have been ready on the other side of the map, maybe to catch some Fnatic members rotating back, or just generally use that early frag as a way to get in on a bomb site. But instead now they're just all stuck waiting.
And they're just hoping for somebody on Fnatic to make the mistake, but now that Fnatic have the man advantage, they don't need to be taking any risks. They don't need to push out. They can just sit and make Vex sweat, make them wait. 35 seconds left pretty much, and Olofmeister getting caught right on the edge of the smoke. There was a gap. I bet you Hyper spotted Olofmeister's boot. But that's going to open it up. Crims gets Molotov'd out of connector, and this is the time here. This is Vex's moment. Take advantage of that Molotov, start pressing up onto the site. Flush is the only one here to stop this.
Well, speaking of time as well, they have to. There's only 20 seconds left, and Flusher's doing a really good job. These counter grenades going to make Vex spend even more time. The bomb is dropped all the way in the far corner, and that's a disaster. Rallon a little bit off course there, and that's really going to lose them the round. Furlan is going to be going down as the last member. Good job from Flusher there. The grenades initially were good, but the fact that Rallon made his way essentially the wrong side of the squad truck there meant even if they got the kill on Flusher and somehow secured the bomb site, they would have to spend an extra 4 or 5 seconds that they really didn't have to pick up the bomb and go and plant it. So got to be careful about where that bomb carrier goes.
That's 2 bomb carrier mistakes we've seen so far from Vex, at least.
Yeah.
Whereas like the underpass one, and then this one right here, you have to be, well, I mean, not only that, I mean, did he even know he was carrying the bomb? That sometimes happens, where the bomb gets dropped randomly onto somebody, and they don't know if they have it or not, and then they get caught out in the middle of Africa. I mean, right now, it's going to come down to this rush again, and this time they're successful. Furlan will take out Flusha, but it is a Nico round, or a kind of semi-quasi coming through here for Vexed. They will be able to close in on Olofmeister, but still a 2-on-3 situation here. Fnatic fully equipped with the Kevlar, with the nades, and AWP on JW. This shouldn't have any trouble at all here, just locking down the remainder of this round. And Pronex with the blind spray through the smoke, taking out Hyper and looking for more.
Still around where Vex do get a little bit out of it, considering the weapons they had early on. 2 kills is not too bad. Keeping Fnatic a little bit honest, and we'll see if it's going to actually matter now that they can buy once again. 13-10 is going to be the scoreline. They could even go for the AWP and see if Furlan's going to want to pick it up here. And it looks like it's going to be a tactical timeout here for Vex. Now is not a bad time for it. I think they should be slowing things down right now and see if they could find a way to essentially get back in this game.
Probably thinking about that during that last round. It was pretty straightforward stuff. Kind of, it's been a long time since we've really seen teams take like Titan timeouts, right? Where a very game's timeout, where they would just kind of sit and spawn on an eco and say, okay, we're going to run down the clock, use up pretty much a minute 30, and then just go run somewhere and die. But now you have that option to just back-to-back it. I like that they actually take the timeout before a big buy round like this, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the sort of points of criticism we often bring up amongst the top teams, is that they seem to be bad at figuring out when to do these timeouts. Usually it ends up being so late that it kind of doesn't matter. So I feel like now is a good time for it. There's still a way back in the game here for Vex, definitely. But you can tell that Fnatic have found the traction they were lacking in the first half. Now they're feeling it. They're
That
ready
rhythm,
for it.
They've definitely hit it. I mean, they're coming alive across the board. Pronax sitting with 18 frags right now above JW, and he's trailing right behind Crims with 19, Flusha with 21. I mean, Flusha's been leading the way for Fnatic right since the beginning of this map. It's good to see that he can just continue to maintain that major form that he's famous for. Wolfmeister's still trailing though, so that's something, you know, it's obviously it's the first map of the major, and you know, we can't look too deeply into you know, individual performances just yet. But you are a little bit worried if you see Wolfmeister not leading the way. You want to see that man sitting at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I do expect him to come alive later on, and like I said, I think Olof is already disappointed in his own performance. We saw him during that really nice interview that they did before the match. He is one of those people who just like is like very self-motivated.
Yes.
So I think he's gonna like pick that up on his own basically. But I don't think he needs anyone to tell him that wasn't good enough.
Here we go. So this is the answer. Straight YOLO rush into connector. Not even going out the main entrance. They lead with the bomb, and it's a catastrophe. Flusha and Crims. They catch him in a crossfire, and Vex just ran right into the blender in a key round. They took the risk. They went for the aggro, and it was just right into, I mean, just all falling apart. What a catastrophe. This round that was never supposed to happen for Vex.
And what we see here, so what I tried to describe earlier as the Cobblestone challenge, which is figuring out how to not lose B as soon as you lose drop or plateau. Fnatic's response to this is simply to put 2 or 3 people in middle, and then 2 people on B, which essentially means sort of almost 4 people holding B, and then you have 1 guy who's maybe sort of just like peeking into A every once in a while, you know, seeing what's up. That's a setup they did in the pistol round as well, which is probably also one of the reasons why they won it. And they're very good at running it like that. This time it's only 3 people over at the B bomb site for Fnatic, but if time goes by, enough time goes by, see if they can make the switch and go back to a more secure setup here towards drop zone.
It's whether Fnatic actually allow it. I thought that Fnatic were going to go for a boost there. JW's up on plateau instead, trying to find a gap in the smoke. He actually refreshes that smoke, but he does have it. He's intentionally put it a little bit onto the right. He's going to be able to spot it through, but Vex so far, they aren't falling for it. It looks like Pete, he's been boosted up on the box. He's got the AWP. He's just waiting for JW to misstep. But it's not going to happen, it seems. JW deciding to play it a bit more passive. Definitely a little bit more reasonable than we're used to seeing it. I mean, I would totally expect, you know, it's like JW, the only guy I would expect to see do that is him, and he actually gets rewarded for playing the safe angle.
Yeah, Pete literally jumped right down in front of his crosshair there, so that's a bit unfortunate. He's down to 38 on the Swedish side, so now we'll see 38 seconds left here, and a nice headshot from Hyper. Flusha going to be coming in, followed up with a really good grenade there. It's the M4 kill, and that's going to be Hyper gone back to a 4 versus 3, and Flusha spraying him down. Furlan gone, and Rallen caught in a corner with very little HP. Not a lot of ways out in this round. It seems like Fnatic are really getting back into this game here. Right now, Vex have not won a single round in the second half. They are just being crushed, essentially. So that's match and map point for Fnatic, and I've got to say, I do feel a bit bad for Vex right now. I feel like they showed us so much in the first half, and they never got a chance in the second so far.
No, they've just been caught in this vice-like grip. I mean, Fnatic, if you were doubting them in the first half, and I mean, there was reason to. You were seeing some disjointed play from them, but not the confidence. But here on the CT side, after that pistol, they've just never given Vex a chance. You're right. And now, I mean, because Vex didn't get the bomb plant, they're limited on the money. They have no nades. They have a single flash, and they're down a man already. Pete gets caught out in the open at the top of Underpass. Furlan is there to get the refrag onto Wolfmeister, though, so they do manage to bring it back to a 4-on-4. But Fnatic, they still have all of the edge. They have all of the advantages in this round.
Trading kills here, and they're actually falling back. JW's going to be hunting them with that AWP. Gets a shot through the side of the wall, and Grubby's almost dead as well. Grenade not going to be working out too well, in fact. Exploding himself a little bit up. Not going to be too much. And we're back into a 3 versus 3 here with a health advantage decidedly in favor of the Fnatic team. 3 kills, and they will have gone through with their first map.
This is nasty here by JW. He's actually going to use this smoke, and they're going to go through drop instead. Crims is hearing this as well. He hears the steps. He needs to react, and he picks off the man with the most HP. This should be easy now for Fnatic to close things out. And look at that JW. Only JW is going to run through and try and knife the guy. 30 seconds left, and the bomb is dropped in front of Connector, and now both players are ready and waiting there for Fnatic. Furlan with the AWP needs to make a godlike shot right now.
But the problem is Fnatic don't care. They can just wait for him to try and go and pick up that bomb. So Furlong doesn't have the time to play this game. He has to just go mad and run in here. As soon as he picks it up, they're going to be right behind him as well. 15 seconds left. He gets a shot through and Crim's right through the door. And it's going to be 10 seconds now. Furlong punching in those numbers and seeing if he can get the actual ace here to clutch it. That would be incredible in the first map. He's looking the right-hand side here. Pronax is behind that rock. The smoke is making him uncomfortable, but there's the kill. And Fnatic there will make it through. Furlan just one click away from doing it. Fnatic going to take it 16-10, which I feel like is a predictable scoreline. It just didn't happen the way that we were expecting. Look at that, all blue in the second half.
Yeah, the wall of blue in the second half here. I mean, that's just an incredible performance. Flusha just nearly dropping the 30 bomb as well. He kept his shape throughout the entire first map.
Yeah. Well, quite a performance from Fnatic in the second half. Vexed, I think they did show us a lot, though, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the desk is going to be up to here. So Richard and the boys, take it away.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Anders. So, yeah, exactly like Anders said, it's a fair summary. Might have been a predictable scoreline, but it wasn't a predictable fashion in which that scoreline was arrived at. Very strange performance. And Vexed have ultimately got to be disappointed. You get 10 rounds in the first half, and then you don't get a single round in the second half. It's,
here's the weird thing about this map, because it's not like a mainstay, not everyone plays it, and so I think people, in terms of the dynamic, it can be quite off. People wonder, like, well, what sided map is this? I notice when the best teams in the world play the map, they make it T-sided. They'll just be racking up T rounds, 10 rounds, 11 rounds on T-sides. They make it seem like that. But the best teams in the world, if you're not one of them and you're on T-side and they're on CT, they can just win the CT half, and that's what Fnatic showed us here. So they had what looked like a nightmare first half. Like, if someone gets 10 CT rounds, well, that should be the game right there. Like I said, if you're a good, really good Cobblestone team, but Fnatic on CT is just way too good. So it actually wasn't even a game beyond that point, even though it should have been like at least some tension, you know, at least worried, but they kind of cruised in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like a nightmare first half. That was a nightmare first half. That was an ugly T-side.